As the movie starts, Jack Adkisson, whose stage name is Fritz von Erich, does his famous iron claw move on his opponent's face during a wrestling fight. After some time has passed, he arrives to meet his wife Doris, as well as his sons Kevin and David. For the purpose of purchasing a showy new car, Doris is dissatisfied with Fritz because he spent more money than they need to. There is no doubt that Fritz will do everything in his power to provide for his family. After a number of years, Kevin is now entering the world of wrestling, following in the footsteps of his father. In light of the fact that Kerry is planning to compete in the Olympics, Fritz shows his son Kerry a great deal of favoritism. Despite the fact that Mike is more interested in music, Fritz is attempting to convince his youngest son to participate in wrestling. David is also a wrestler. Doris is told by Kevin that Fritz is being too harsh on Mike, but she does not believe him after hearing his claims. As part of their tag team bout at the Sportatorium, Kevin and David will compete against Bruiser Brody and Gino Hernandez. One of the brothers, David, used the iron claw on his opponent, and both brothers put in their best effort. Pam, a young woman, approaches Kevin after the match. She is intrigued in him and convinces him to invite her out on a date. Kevin declines her invitation. During their breakfast together, Kevin reveals to Pam the rumored curse that has been placed on his family from generation to generation. The original oldest von Erich sibling, Jack Jr., who passed away when he was only 6 years old, is the subject of his discussion. As a means of providing Kevin with comfort, Pam moves closer to his side. Later on, Kevin and David compete against Harley Race. Kevin is handed a severe beating, and the only reason he is able to emerge victorious is because Harley is disqualified for throwing the referee out of the ring. While expressing his dissatisfaction with Kevin, Fritz is proud of David and the qualities he possesses. Kerry's prospects of competing in the Olympics are eliminated as a result of the boycott that occurred during the 1980 Olympics. As Kevin and David compete in the ring, Fritz makes an effort to persuade him to join them. After some time has passed, the brothers make ready to go out to one of Mike's music gigs. Pam assists them in stealing out of the house in order to conceal their travel plans from their parents. After defeating the fabulous Freebirds in a 6-man tag team battle, the three brothers have established themselves as a formidable force by the early 1980s. Kevin and Pam ended up getting married at a later time. Kevin discovers David throwing up into a toilet on the occasion of the reception, and there is a trace of blood visible. Kevin tells David that Pam is expecting a child, which will make David an uncle, which is something that David is looking forward to. David claims that he is doing well, but Kevin does not believe him. When Kevin returns home one day, he discovers Fritz alone, who informs him that David passed away due to a perforated bowel. This occurs some time after David had gone on tour in Japan. At the funeral for David, the family expresses their sorrow. During the World Championship match, David was scheduled to compete against Ric Flair for the title. In order to choose who will take David's place, Fritz tosses a coin, and Kerry is the one who comes out on top. Kevin is considered a strong contender. He competes against Flair and emerges victorious, so claiming the championship. Yet, it is evident that he is struggling with something within himself. After some time has passed, Kerry goes out for a trip on his motorcycle and meets a truck, which results in his losing his right foot. Despite his continued efforts to improve his handicap, Kerry is unable to continue his training process. Kevin is forced by Fritz to begin training Mike, who isn't particularly enthusiastic about following in their footsteps. Mike sustains a severe shoulder injury during his first match, and the toxic shock syndrome that follows causes him to enter a coma a few times later. At the point in time when Mike finally comes to, he exhibits symptoms of brain damage. The familial curse is something that Kevin is certain of, and as a result, he decides to legally alter the name of his newborn baby to Adkisson. In spite of his injury, Fritz instructs Mike to return to the ring and compete again. After some time has passed, Mike is observed penning a message and taking drugs while drinking a beer. In the end, his family is the ones who discover his body. Following Mike's passing, Kevin begins to establish a distance between himself and Pam, as well as their son. He is forced to compete against Flair for the championship title, and as the bout progresses, he comes dangerously close to losing to Flair. However, Kevin is able to triumph over Flair. If, on the other hand, he continues to perform the Iron Claw on Flair's face for an excessive amount of time after the referee has finished counting down, he will be disqualified. While Kevin is striving to assist Kerry in his wrestling endeavors, Kerry continues to push himself. In spite of the fact that Fritz is also raising another son with Pam, he expresses his desire for Kevin to take over the World Class Championship Wrestling Association. Kerry joins the family for the holiday season and presents Fritz with a new firearm. However, Kerry's behavior becomes increasingly hostile when Fritz chooses to store the firearm rather than use it. Kevin makes an effort to numb his brother's anxiety. After a period of time has passed, Kerry gives Kevin a phone call and discusses the family curse as well as his thoughts associated with suicide. Kevin makes an effort to find Kerry and requests assistance from Fritz, but Fritz is dismissive of his son's concerns about the situation. Kevin travels to the old house where his family has lived in for many years. He hears a gunshot. After running over to a tree, he discovers that Kerry has shot himself in the chest with a hunting rifle. During the time that Kevin is frantically attempting to assist his brother, Fritz comes, and Kevin lashes out at Fritz in a fit of rage, accusing him of being responsible for what occurred to his brothers. When Kevin arrives in the living room, he brings Kerry's body with him. Kerry discovers Mike with his guitar and David with his championship belt when he arrives in the hereafter on a boat. This is revealed to be the case. During this period, the three individuals also have their first encounter with Jack Jr. and identify him as their older brother. In order to devote more time to his family, Kevin decides to sell the WCCW to Jerry Jarrett not long after that. Doris begins to pursue a pastime of painting at the same time that it becomes apparent that her marriage to Fritz is coming to an end. After some time has passed, Kevin is seen sitting outside with his sons while they play football, and Pam is in the process of carrying her third child. When Kevin's sons ask him why he is crying, he responds by saying that he is missing his brothers more than anything else. Kevin finds some solace in the fact that the lads have stated that they will function as his brothers. After then, he participates beside his sons in the game. Although they were inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2009, the Von Erich family continues to be considered one of the most important families in the world of wrestling, according to the concluding text. The ranch that Kevin and Pam possess is a place where they let their entire family to reside, including their 4 children and 13 grandchildren. This ranch is accompanied with a photograph of their enormous family. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this.